Here's a very simple and much loved Christmas song. It's very easy to play on the guitar. I'm playing this in the key of G, and straight away I'm playing a Travis picking pattern. Let's look at that. You can strum this or pick it however you like, but this is fairly straightforward. I've got my thumb, for G at least, on the 6th string, and my two picking fingers, my first finger is on the 3rd string, the G string, and the second finger is on the 2nd string. Now I'm going to play this in 2 pairs, and sometimes in Travis picking you hear tell of the outside pair and inside pair. The thumb plays the bottom string, that's the 6th string for G, and that second finger picks the 2nd string. Now my thumb's going to come up to the 4th string, followed by the first finger picking the 3rd string. That's all I'm going to do. And at some point we move to a C chord. So my thumb, for its first note, is going to move up from the 6th string to the 5th string. Thumb is now on the 5th string to the 2nd string with the 2nd finger, and as before the thumb then moves up to the 4th string. So the only thing that's going to change is where the thumb starts off in the pattern. A couple of other things to talk about. We've got a chord of D7, which is not so easy to navigate if you're playing a pattern like this, because it only uses the top 4 strings, so it forces your picking fingers to move up to the top 4 strings, and that kind of makes a bit of a contrast. Suddenly everything becomes a bit brighter and it doesn't feel as though it really coordinates with the other chords. So I'm going to show you another way to play a D7. Here's a C chord. Your little finger can go on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string to make a C7, and just move that up 2 frets. And now play this shape, that's D7, kind of in the same place as C7. So if you were picking a C, you'd happily have your picking on the middle 4 strings. For D7 you can do likewise. If you're playing a Travis picking pattern, generally you're not going to play the top string unless you want to pick out a particular melody note. So keeping everything to the bottom 5 strings with this shape allows everything to be a little bit more consistent, give us some flow. The last thing to say is that actually these 8th notes or quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, aren't played strictly straight, so the in-between notes aren't exactly halfway through the beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's swung, that is to say the first note in each pair, in each half beat, is played longer. So the note that should come in the middle actually comes a bit later. I'm making it sound more complicated than it is. Here it's played straight. And now swung. We get that typical kind of rolling feel. So that's what I'm going to do in a moment when we have a playthrough. But for now, let's just sketch out the chords. We begin with 3 bars of G and then D7. And you can play this D7 if you're strumming this or picking it your way, but I'm going to play this D7. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. So 3 bars of G and a bar of D7, and then we come back 3 bars of D7 and a bar of G. And if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows. And then we get that same thing again. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They wouldn't let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. So that's the first half. Now the second half kicks off with C for a bar and G for a bar. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, and now it's half a bar each of A minor 7 and D7. Santa came to say. Okay. Now we get D7 for 2 bars. Rudolph with your nose so bright. And I'm going to sort of make stops here on an E minor and an A7 back to D7 for a bar. Rudolph with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? And we finish off 3 bars of G, 1 bar of D7, 3 bars of D7 and 1 of G. So like the first 8 bars. Then all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. It's not so tricky, and I'd encourage you just to memorize the chord sequence, at least for most of it, because if you're looking at the page, you know, that's the main thing you're focusing on. You wouldn't believe how much easier and more relaxed it feels if you've got the chords in your head. Okay, that's all I got for you. Let's have a little playthrough. I've got a metronome going here. And if it's that time of year, I hope your holidays are going well. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They wouldn't let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Oh, then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Ho, ho, ho.